Yeah. So anyway, so in watching the 1 o'clock games today, there were a couple of situations where we've been talking about this over and over again. It's now become sexy to go for it on fourth down. It's now become like the thing to do.
Been in your own territory in the first quarter.
It's like the hot new club in town. You know what I mean? We got to go for it on fourth down, baby. We got to be new age.
Yeah.
We got to use analytics. All you old people don't know what you're talking about. And listen, I get it. I think we have to adapt to the times that we're in and all of that stuff. But there's situations every week where teams make this gigantic mistake and it's unnecessary. So today, you just talked about the Bengals losing to the Jets. So the Jets go down. They score the first drive. Okay, the Bengals go down. They're inside the 10-yard line. It's like 4th and 5 or something like that. And they go for it. They don't get it. And I'm like, it's the first quarter. You're playing the Jets.
It's also 4th and 5. Like right. 4th and 1, 4th and 2, you could almost justify that a little more. But like, yeah, again, you're in the first quarter. Just kick the field goal.
They chose not to kick the field goal. Okay, they didn't get the fourth down. They lost the game by 3 points. They had a 2-touchdown lead. The Jets came back through some help with a Burrow interception. But regardless, the game would have been tied. Like, you still could have won the game had you just taken that field goal. It would have been 7-3. The Bengals came back and the Jets weren't able to do anything. The Bengals came back and tied the game at 7. But again, they would have had a 3-point lead. Like, I don't know why you can't take 3 points anymore. I don't know what happened. There was a unique situation today where this was even better. This was the best one of the day. So the Steelers are playing the Browns. It was a tight game. It's 4th and 9. Okay? They're inside the 20. 4th and 9. Okay? They run out the field goal. They decide to do a fake field goal. Okay? So they snap the ball to the field goal kicker. He runs out to the side. There's nobody open. Okay? So he tries to throw the ball. You know, there wasn't anybody to throw it to. He threw it basically out of the back of the end zone. Nobody ever really had a chance to catch it. But the kicker got smoked. One of the Steelers just nailed him and took the kicker out of the game. So they couldn't kick field goals the rest of the game. Okay? And they managed to win, partly because of Cleveland's ineptitude. Cleveland only scored 10 points. But the rest of the game, they had to go for 2 after touchdowns, and they couldn't kick field goals. They were just trying to score every time they had the ball because their kicker got injured because they decided to do a fake field goal when the game was I think it was 3-3. Like, it was, the game was fine. It was in the first half of the game. So it's just like, why would you call that?
First of all, I'm not saying I'm against going for it on fourth down, but some of these, it's like, guys, what are you doing?
4th and 9, just take the 3 points.
Yeah, 4th and 9. I mean, look, if it's like the last play of the game and you have to score, then yeah, you go for it. But
yeah. So then this one was a good one. So the Colts, the Colts need to beat Tennessee today because the Colts, in order to keep pace in that division, they have to beat Tennessee today. So the Colts come out, they play really well. They're up 14-0. Okay? They have the ball at midfield. And this was another one. It was like 4th and 8 or 4th and 9, something like that. And they decide to go for it. They're at midfield. They have a 14-0. Right, they have a 14-0 lead. Okay?
Just pin them deep, and then if you stop them within a few plays, you'll get the ball back in good field position. What the hell are you doing?
Exactly. First half of the game. So they don't. They go for it. So they give Tennessee the ball at midfield. Tennessee comes down, scores. So, and then eventually they lost the game in overtime. So these teams are making decisions. They're acting like these decisions. Oh, it's not that big a deal. It's worth the risk. In the NFL, unless you're, there's nobody in the NFL really killing everybody right now. I mean, unless you're Tampa or, something like that. Like, these NFL games come down to a possession.
Yeah.
Maybe, 2 possessions. That's what it comes down to. You only get the ball 10 to 12 times. Like, you can't mess these things up. If you're at the goal line, like you said, if you're at the goal line and it's 4th and 1, and you're in the other team's territory. Like, honestly, I don't have really a problem with that. I really don't. Like 4th and 1, okay, I get it. You believe in your team, you should be able to pick up a yard.
It's like I was saying to you, like I think the last podcast, I was talking about the Cowboys Patriots game, and then the first drive of the game, the Cowboys, like, they got to a 4th down in their own territory. They went for it. They didn't get it. And then the Patriots go down and score a touchdown. I'm like, why would you give a limited quarterback a shorter field to try to score a touchdown? What the heck? I mean, they ended up winning the game in overtime.
Overtime.
Yeah. So, again, who knows how the rest of the game would have played out if they hadn't gone for that, again. But it's just like, why are you making the decision to do that when you're giving, like, the time and score matters. The opponent you're playing matters in terms of making that decision. Like, I got annoyed with this years ago with the challenges. Some of the plays that coaches would challenge, I'd be like, and I remember I was watching a Vikings game with somebody, and I said, the Vikings coach challenged something, and I said, why are you challenging that? I don't think you have a very good chance of doing that. This is also the first half. You're only going to have one challenge left. And somebody said, well, but he's got another challenge. I'm like, yeah, and that's it. Because he just got that one wrong. He's not, if you get both of them right, then you get a third one.
And you lose a timeout.
Left. And you lose the timeout. Exactly. So it's like, again, I understand that, like, there's times you want to challenge something, or there's times you want to go for it on 4th down, but does it make sense for the situation that you're in? And people can say, well, you don't know what it's like and blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. I'm not a coach, whatever. I've never played a snap in an NFL game. But, I mean, just watching this stuff, you see how the games play out, and it's like, just kick the field goal.
But the difference between the coaches and the teams that win games and are consistently good every year, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The Patriots do not mess those things up.
Yeah.
Never. Okay? They don't do it. Okay? Yes, Belichick is famous for going for it on 4th down in his own territory, but that was in the 4th quarter with the game on the line.
Peyton Manning.
Exactly. Completely different situation. That doesn't apply to you.
He came within like a foot, not even a foot of getting the first down.
It doesn't compare to your 4th and 9 calling the fake field goal. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. So listen. I understand we should going for it on 4th down a little more often than we used to. I get that.
That's true. You probably should.
But you gotta be judicious about this stuff. You have to be smart, and the teams that are smart, they do really well. The Cowboys are really worried that, oh, geez, Mike McCarthy's going to screw up one of these clock management situations, and he might. He might. This might cost them at some point. But, this is the mismanagement. It's unbelievable that I can see this and these guys can't. It's incredible. Anyway.
That's one of those things that I would talk to you about this when the Patriots were having their, 20-year dynasty or whatever. Like, sometimes a lot of times it didn't come down to the Patriots had more talent than other people. They rarely had more talent than the other teams they were playing. But I would just, you would watch games, especially on defense, you would watch, and other teams, a lot of times on possessions, you'll have because you have 11 guys out there on defense. A lot of times, some teams you'll have one guy who's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, right? But on a Belichick team, that rarely happens. I mean, on some other teams, you might have 2 or 3 guys who look like they're just not, they don't know what the fuck. But on a Belichick coach defense, no, they know where they're supposed to be. They may not be as talented as you, but they're not messing around. They'll be in the right spot where they're supposed to be. They'll be doing their job, which
listen,
people don't understand. That's half the battle right there. If you're doing that, you could potentially be in a lot of games. And then it's just a matter of, you got to make plays here and there.
Look at the Dolphins game today. Okay, Buffalo has way more talent than the Dolphins do. They are a far superior team, okay? But in the first half of the game, the Dolphins missed a field goal, okay? They had a fumble when they had the ball in Buffalo territory that they could have gotten at least 3 points, maybe 7, right? If they're leading that game 9-3 at halftime, it's a little different in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
So, again, and
those little things end up. I mean, granted, you need to have a good roster, you need to have talent, you need to be able to make plays, you need to be able to rush the quarterback, all those things. But a lot of times you got to make those critical plays. You got to get those right. Because if you don't get them right, then you're either behind or you just end up losing the game.
And again, the Jets aren't any good.
Yeah, the Jets are terrible.
But they did the right stuff today. And Cincinnati made critical mistakes that cost them the game.
Yeah.
So, anyway.